It's time we talk about it. We have a very serious problem. I have three pretty clear issues right now. The first one being, obviously, I said that I'd make $25,000 to my mom. It's a promise, and when I make a promise to my mom, as I've mentioned several times, it matters. There's some weight behind it. It's not just me telling my friend that I'm going to come over at 8 o'clock and I get there at 8:15. This is a big deal. So we're pretty short of that. Albeit this has been a decent summer. We're up, which is always a good thing, but the pressure's on, man. There's only like literally a week left in the World Series of Poker, and I've got almost nothing to show for it. Okay, the third one is an important one and something that I promise you I don't want to take lightly. I care a lot about my mental health, and I've talked about it a lot, but not only that, I care a lot about my physical fitness. As you guys have seen, it's not a secret. I have been on the most ridiculous roller coaster of weight anyone you've seen or followed on YouTube. And sure, maybe this isn't the channel to talk about it openly or whatever. Maybe you don't care. I care about it, and it's my channel, so let's talk about it a little bit. Obviously, we lost a ton of weight, but as you're seeing, I'm starting to put it back on. The World Series of Poker is not inducive of a healthy environment. There's almost no decent food options here in Vegas, and although I do have a home here, and it's not a great excuse, that's the thing. You give your body, you give your mind the excuses to go out to eat and to have this one candy and to have this one piece of bread, blah, blah, blah. It's adding up is what I'm saying. It's taking a toll on me. Luckily, mentally, I still feel really checked in. I feel like my game's the best it's ever been poker-wise, but the body is getting beat up. I think it's really important to say out loud the things that you're having trouble or struggling with, and that way we can kind of see them almost in front of you and you can attack them, or you can make a course, like a plan of attack of how you want to move forward. Today is my plan of attack. Today we're playing the $600 Ultra Stack. You start with 60,000 chips. It started at 10 a.m. It's currently around 2:30. My plan is very simple. I'm going to be the freshest person at the table when I get there. I'm coming in freshly showered. I went to the gym this morning. I've already eaten my meal. I feel excellent. I'm going to go in and I'm going to bag nearly 1 million chips. I can promise you that. Let's go. I'm going to make day 2. I can promise it to you. Yeah, well, I'm excited. Throw some fucking like montage of cool stuff of me going to the World Series of Poker. I don't know. This is your last warning. You should probably not watch this video. But if you stayed, we've got some poker to go over, and we're max late regging the $600 Ultra Stack at the World Series of Poker. These tournaments have had massive prize pools, and with some deep runs and some pretty bad ones, I'm looking to turn things around. It's going to be a little harder though when we only have 10 big blinds. The action folds to me when I look down an ace-9 offsuit from late position. I'm going to go ahead and jam my 44,000 in the middle, which is good for 11 big blinds. The small blind folds, and then the button tanks for a bit before eventually deciding on a fold. I don't know if that's good or bad, but for now, we'll take the free chips. When you max late register these tournaments, ROI is important. You want to minimize the amount of time that you spend on the felt and maximize the return in money. I just honestly made that up right now. Anyways, under the gun is limping. That's probably not a great play. I looked at an ace-3 of diamonds with the starting stack of around 14 big blinds. I can jam, I can fold, but how about making a 3x? I don't know. Let's get weird. 12K to go. Sure, let's do it, bud. Everyone folds and he makes the call. We flop top pair on a super wet and coordinated board. He checks to me and I bet a small, measly 14,000 chips, leaving myself a measly 28,000 chips behind. And he actually calls. Yeah, this hand's absolutely weird. Even weirder when the turn's a 5 of clubs. It changes nothing. Full rainbow board. He checks once again. And if I thought I was ahead on the flop, probably good still now. So I jam all in and he goes deep into the tank. That's usually a good thing. He can probably never have an ace now, as my stack is so small compared to how big his stack is. All that being said, he eventually does make the call and flips over Jack 9 of diamonds. We had him dominated. That's just Jack high for now, but he has a double gutter. The river card's a brick for a spades, and we catch a massive double up. It seems like the late registration entry has definitely paid dividends already. The blinds continue to go higher, 5,000, 3,000, 5,000. Under the gun raises to 10,000. Action folds to me in the big blind, and it's going to be hard to play hands out of position, and even more so when you're sitting on less than 20 big blinds.
throw that all out of the window because we look down at ace king, big slick from the big blind. Again, kind of a tricky situation. We could 3-bet, but things can get really awkward if we go to a flop and we don't catch a pair. Maybe I check. I don't know. Let's make this pretty simple. I just go all in. I want to leave the decision on my opponent. I have a pretty easy one. I have a good hand, although it is a drawing hand. It doesn't matter. He folds pretty quickly, and once again, we pick up some more chips. And for the first time in this entire tournament, I have over 20 big blinds. By this point, I'm starting to feel myself. I have more chips that I even know what to do with, which equates to like 25 big blinds for what it's worth. And I looked out into suited jack. I wouldn't recommend doing this at home, but I raise. Action folds over to the big blind, who goes into a Hollywood before deciding to 3-bet. It is a bit of a string 3-bet, but eventually he does do it. I obviously can do anything here besides fold, but you know, I just wanted to show you guys the honesty of we're doing some stuff. We're getting freaky and we're losing chips. That was bad. The action folds to me in the small blind. I look down a king 10 offsuit. I go ahead and limp, playing this as a bit of a deceptive play and a trap. Our opponent checks his option and the flop comes out giving me top pair. Gonna continue playing this trappy muck trapster game. I check it over to him and he checks it back. The turn card is a jack. I don't think it's changed much here. The board reads king 5-3 jack. I decide to bet now for value. My opponent pretty quickly makes the call, and the river card comes out a 4. Once again, don't really expect my opponent to have any random straights, so I'm going to go ahead and bet for value, and after just a few seconds, our opponent flicks in the call. I confidently show my hand, which I think is good, but it's not. When our opponent flips over jack 5 for 2 pair, at some point I would have thought he would have raised, but I guess I'm happy it didn't. Good hand, sir. Once again, we have found ourselves sub 20 big blinds and things are not looking any easier. Middle position jams for 7 big blinds, which is 35,000 chips. And I look down at ace 6 offsuit. Not a great hand, but as blinds continue to go up, because this feels like an absolute turbo crapshoot, I've got one option and one option only, and that is to go all in. I know some people won't love it, but in these tournaments, good players are going to be pretty aggressive. They're going to be jamming pretty wide, and this probably isn't right, but for me, it's going to be good enough. So I go ahead and go all in for 80,000. Everyone else folds, and our opponent shows king 9 of diamonds. We're going to need a big hold here. The flop comes out 10-3-3, doesn't change anything for anyone. My ace high is still very much in the lead. The turn comes a 6, giving us a pair, but once again, he still has only the 2 live cards. The king and the 9 would do it. The river card is a 4 across, but it's missing the extra one. It's only the 8 of spades, and just like that, we catch that massive pot. Huge one for us. Once again, puts us back over 20 big blinds. By this point, you guys can clearly see I'm sick. Both sick physically and mentally. I'm like sick in the head. I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm clearly missing some brain cells by this point. And this next hand kind of goes to show that I'm not all there. It folds to me in the small blind, and I look down at ace king of clubs. I decide to limp. I'll give myself a little bit of a break here. As you guys know, we're not that deep. If I check, he takes it as weakness. He raises. I get the jam. He calls off pretty weak. You know, it kind of makes sense. But no, he checks his option, and we're off to a flop where I check it over to him, and he checks it back. The turn card gives us a pair of aces. There is a 4-liner to a straight, so I don't know if I love my bet, but I make it 6K because I'm greedy, and he makes the call. The river card puts a 5-liner out there. Any 6 makes the highest straight, but it's ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5 on the board. I check it over to him, and he massively overbets for like 34 or 35K. I'm just not having it. I don't believe you, but show me the damn 6. Honestly, just show me a 6. I dare you. I call. He flips over his hand. I tap the table in slow rolling fashion and flip over my ace king. Yeah, we chopped the pot. That's good, but I don't know what I'm doing at this point. To this point, we've been kind of bobbing and weaving, doing the best I can with what is clearly my F game. When this next hand shows up, I look down at an ace-jack offsuit, sitting on 20 big blinds exactly. I make it 12K to go. Action folds over to the small blind, who decides to go all in for 71,000 chips. By my math, that's less than 12 big blinds. Ace-jack, in my opinion, is a little too strong to fold here, so I go ahead and make the call. We're going to be ahead of a bunch of his jamming range that includes middling to lower pocket pairs, as well as some aces that we're going to have dominatrixed. This time around, it's what we were expecting and hoping for. He has pocket 4, so any ace, any jack, any straight, any flush, just give me something, dealer. The flop comes out king 9 deuce. Not great, but there is some backdoor opportunities. The turn card is a 3, not what we're looking for. And the river card is a 3 again. A massive double up for my opponent, and what is going to be a massive hit for my own stack. Kind of tilting to get it in a nice race, and even more so tilting when you just don't win. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, in this next hand, we look down at ace queen offsuit. I decided to go all in with 41,000 chips, which is good for like 5 big blinds or something like that. Either way, which is good for like 8 big blinds or something. I don't even know, like 7 big blinds at this point. The small blind tank calls with pocket 8s. The flop comes out jack 6-3. Not good for us. The turn's a 9, and the river is an 8 of hearts. He makes a set, and we lose. This tournament registration's over. I'm heartbroken. I'm frustrated, but then I get an idea. Bang! Look at that. We're thinking with our brain now. Why waste the entire day? Let's lock in to a daily deep stack, ladies and gentlemen. What better way to do it than maximum late reg the flight for 4 o'clock? That has been pushed back anyways. We end up going all in blind. We look down at king 8 offsuit. I don't even know how many chips that is. We're up against ace 3, and the flop comes out 9-4-3. No help to me. The turn is a jack. We're going to need a king or an 8 on the river, or we've busted our first buy-in. Bang! It is a deuce on the river. We have busted out our first bullet, but once again, I'm not going to quit. Mama didn't raise no quitter. I'm right back in that thing. Well, my comical day will continue to get even funnier. We are now sitting on our second buy-in of this daily deep stack. We get sat, I think, at the same exact table, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just become preposterous. It smells terrible in here. The person next to me is bumping. It's smelling crazy. You know, we come from different walks of life, but please, you come to the poker table, hygiene has to be of the utmost respect for the people around you and yourself. Anyways, I don't mean to go on a tangent. This next time we have ace 7 offsuit. We flop trips from the big blind. The button has trips as well. We get it all in. The flop is ace queen. Yeah, he has ace 8, so he has me out kicked. Luckily, hopefully, I'm hoping this ends up in a chop. The deuce of hearts on the turn? No. Please, dealer, it has to be a 9 or higher, or I'm gonna get busted again. Wow. Just by the skin of my teeth, we survive as the river's a 9 of hearts. Thankfully, I don't have to buy in for a third time. Give me a chance, dealer. We can do it together. All right, by this point in the session, we've kind of chipped away. We've done pretty decent. We've got ourselves a bit of a stack, and we're in a bit of a flow state. We've done the dusting early on. Now we are locked in. Jack 10 offsuit's not a great hand, but under the gun, it's even worse. I raise. All that stuff I was saying, locked in. Yeah, this is locked in somewhere in the world. The next position player makes the call, and then late position goes all in for like 6 or 7 big blinds. Again, it's just too small for me to fold now. This is the trouble with raising hands like this, but whatever. I rest my case. I make the call. Middle position calls as well. Flop comes out jack 8-5. Really nice hand for us now. We got top pair. I bet a small amount. The middle position player folds, and now I'm heads up all in against the opponent who went all in for a small amount. Still not a small pot in the middle. Makes up almost half or a little more than half my stack by this point. The turn card is a beautiful brick. It comes out a queen, although granted that it gives them a little bit of a fighting chance here, a little bit of equity going to the river, and bang, 10 on the river just to put the dagger in my damn heart. Yes. Yes, I'm so happy. This day is going perfect. Fucking perfect. Well, by this point, I kind of feel like Phil Hellmuth, and for some reason, I want to light this in. All right, okay. Oops. Take a breath. It's all right. We're just playing a daily deep stack. We're just chilling. We're having a blast. We're all in 3 ways with King Jack. How the hell did we get here? Yeah, this is wait, 4 ways? We're all in 4 fucking ways? Are you kidding me? Ace 9 called me. All right, you know, it's a fair enough fight. The King Queen called me. What the hell are you doing in the hand, dude? And then I don't even know what the hell the other guy has. I'm in desperate need of help. Please, God, somebody. The flop is dust. The turn is dustier. And the river, somehow the worst damn hand wins. The King Queen, I don't know how he overcalled there, but I'm on monkey tilt. I told you guys not to watch this episode. I told you. Fuck!
All right, today's festivities have officially come to an end. I was really close to just kind of being in a shit mood, coming on here and being like, blah, blah, blah. But I met a really nice gentleman. I believe him was Jose. As I was walking out after busting in the ridiculous way that we've been busting all day, ended up being pretty fucking awesome. He was super sweet, met his family, said hello, so shout out to you. And that was nice. It was great. Also, we're getting a call from BJ now. Yes, Mr. BJ.